Threading the webbing. Starting from the back, thread the webbing through the upper and lower sets of belt loops. Snap ends first. The snaps want to end up at the door. There are two bundles of webbing. One is for the upper belt loops in the flap, and the other is for the lower ones in the wall. At the door, screw in the snap bottoms to the bit of visible jam wing. To locate snap bottoms, use the hammer tap method again, this time on the snaps in the webbing. The webbing should end on the jam wing, butted up against the jams. Make sure the webbing lines up evenly with the webbing across the door from it. Working around to the back again, take out any twists in the webbing. And lastly, tighten both the upper and lower webbing in the back of the yurt as tight as you can. Threading the cinch rope. The cinch rope goes around the bottom of the wall vinyl to seal the yurt and hold it to the platform. Starting from the door, thread the cinch rope in and out through the brass grommets all the way around. When you come to the fold, thread it so that the fold is held flat. When you come back to the door, make a loop in the end of the rope. Pass the other end of the rope through the loop. Tighten it until the loop hits the vinyl on the other side. Now walk around the yurt checking for bunching, misfolds, and sections that aren't tightening, or any grommets that you missed. Now go back to the door and untie the loop and remake it further back and repeat it until you can't tighten it anymore. Then tie off and tuck in the excess rope. Attaching the tie downs. Tie one end of the spool of paracord to a belt loop in the roof flap. Unspool down past the platform and cut the paracord 3 feet below the floor height. Burn both ends. Do this to all the belt loops, including over the windows. You can skip the belt loops on either side of the door. Then pass the paracord tails behind the lower webbing. Attaching and tying off to the boat cleats. Lying on your back on the ground, screw in a cleat below each tie down. The cleats can be screwed into joists, carry beams, or whatever is most convenient. Place the cleats far enough in to not interfere with the wall vinyl. Wrap each paracord around its boat cleat and pull as tight as you possibly can. Then secure the paracord to the boat cleat using a cleat knot or trucker's hitch or your favorite knot. Cutting and attaching the door awning. Start by tucking the ends of the roof flap into the 1/8 inch slots between the wooden awning and the door header, on the left and on the right. Now pull out any roof wrinkles over the door. Take a Sharpie and make a line across the fabric awning 1.5 inches out from the front edge of the wooden awning and cut off the fabric awning on this line. You can take this scrap material and tuck it inside the yurt somewhere for future roof patching. Now pull the roof fabric taut and towards you and screw the vinyl overhang up to the bottom of the wooden awning using screws and trim washers. Start at the center and work outward. Then fold the ends like gift wrapping or be creative. If necessary, a screw and trim washer at the top of the flap on the left and the right of the door beneath the awning will take out any lumps. Cutting in the windows. You'll need someone outside the yurt while you work from the inside. Have the person outside push on the corners of the window screen in the very corners where the screen meets the Velcro. Now from the inside, feel where that person's finger is and make a mark on the inner liner 6 inches in and 6 inches over from that point. Do this with all 4 corners and connect the dots, making a rectangle by drawing on the inner liner. You should have a rectangle 6 inches smaller than the actual window edge all the way around. Just to be clear, that's a total of 12 inches less in both height and width. Now, very carefully with a pair of scissors, cut through both the liner and insulation on this line. It's kind of like gutting a deer through a picket fence. Be careful, don't cut the outer screen. It's easiest to start at the bottom. When you're done, remove the scraps of liner and insulation, and then starting at each corner, cut a slit in the liner and insulation at a 45-degree angle. Cut until you reach the actual outer window corner. You're going to want to keep peeking behind the liner and insulation to find the corner that you're aiming for. Next, fold the liner and insulation out and away from you to create a neat looking hemmed edge all the way around. Hold the hemmed edge in place with the brass brads provided, using 3 to 4 brads per side. To start the brads, poke a hole through the layers with a nail or awl 1 inch back from the edge. There you go. To open your windows, roll up the clear vinyl from the outside. The white ties can be used to hold it open. Finishing up, go around the inside of the yurt at the top of the wall and tuck the roof liner behind the wall liner so no roof foil is showing. Now walk around outside, pulling out any wrinkles in the roof flap, and make sure the fold in the wall vinyl around back is nicely tucked. Maintenance. The best way to care for your yurt is to use it. The most common troubles come from ignoring it for too long. Set and maintain mouse traps, especially in the fall. Storing the yurt. Store your yurt, if you must, in a dry, well-ventilated space. A barn works well. A concrete garage floor or a tarp in the yard are not recommended. Bag or wrap all insulation and liner parts and add mothballs to keep out mice.